For the last few decades, we have been told to fear our population, whether it's overpopulation or population collapse. We see the terrifying headlines. We hear that birth rates are in freefall. We can hear about data from South Korea with a fertility rate of around 0.7, a record low, or Japan with a fertility rate of around 1.1 children per woman. Nearly 1 in 3 people already over the age of 65 in Japan. And it's easy to feel a sense of anxiety. But what if this narrative is wrong? What if we are not witnessing a collapse, but a correction? What if a world with fewer people isn't an apocalypse, but the single greatest upgrade our civilization will ever experience? This is the story of the best case scenario for a shrinking planet, a future that could be quieter, smarter, more prosperous, and more sustainable than anything we have ever known. Let's start with the economy. For all of human history, our prosperity has been built on a simple equation. More people equals more workers, and that equals more growth. A shrinking population shatters that model, and this is where the magic happens. Faced with labor shortages, societies will be forced to unleash the full potential of the automation revolution. McKinsey estimates that automation could add up to $13 trillion to the global economy by 2030, creating a massive wave of new wealth. In a best case scenario world, this doesn't create mass unemployment, it creates the automation dividend. The dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs are handed over to machines, freeing up human talent for what we do best. A recent study of software developers using AI assistants found that they can code up to 56% faster with the current levels of AI assistants that are improving by the day. Imagine that level of productivity gains across all facets of society. It will make a standard 4-day work week not a radical dream, but a very possible economic outcome. And this new wealth would allow us to finally break free from the tyranny of GDP, where we can then focus on metrics that focus on well-being rather than just purely economic output. For anyone under 40 trying to build a life in a major global city, the current system is fundamentally broken. The housing crisis is a key driver of falling birth rates. A study from the Journal of Housing Economics found that a 10% increase in housing costs leads to a measurable decline in fertility rates among young adults. A smaller, stable population completely changes this dynamic. With less pressure on a handful of large cities, the housing market would cool from speculative insanity to a more sensible, stable situation. And we are already seeing the raw materials for this future. Office vacancies in the US are now hovering near a 30-year high, almost 20%. These empty towers could be retrofitted into affordable apartments, vertical farms, and community centers. With less need to spend trillions on new urban infrastructure, a single mile of new subway can cover over $2.5 billion. That capital can be reinvested into improving the quality of life for existing citizens. And this new, better world wouldn't just benefit cities. For centuries, rural areas have been places of economic exodus. In our best case scenario, they become the new frontier of high-tech, sustainable living. This future is powered by a revolution of new technologies, AI-driven robotics, decentralized clean energy, and total connectivity. Farmland could be more accessible, and tedious labor could be handled by a fleet of intelligent robots. This isn't science fiction, it's precision agriculture. Studies from the USDA found that precision technologies can boost crop yields by as much as 15% while reducing the need for fertilizer by 20% and the use of water by 10%. At the same time, the cost of solar has plummeted over 90% in the last decade, allowing rural homes and farms to achieve total energy independence. Combined with global satellite internet, the historic divide between urban opportunity and rural isolation would disappear. For decades, many environmentalists have told us more people equals more growth and more pollution. A smaller, more technologically advanced population allows us to finally break this link, where economic output rises while resources actually fall. A recent analysis in 2021 found that nations have already successfully decoupled their GDP growth from both material consumption and carbon emissions. A smaller population accelerates this trend dramatically. With fewer people, there is less strain on every single resource, from fresh water supplies to critical minerals. A society that is 10% smaller requires much less concrete, steel, and energy, making it profoundly easier to transition to a fully sustainable, circular economy without demanding painful sacrifices from its citizens. And most importantly, a world with fewer people allows us to invest more in every single person. When a nation is no longer in a frantic race to build enough schools and hospitals, it can focus on making the ones it has the best they can possibly be. This is the ultimate societal shift from quantity to quality. We could see per pupil spending on education potentially double or triple, ensuring every child has the tools to reach their full potential. And for the elderly, this future offers dignity and empowerment. A silver economy projected to be worth over 20 trillion globally would emerge to cater to a healthy, active, aging population. The key is shifting from treatment to prevention, powered by technology. Studies on remote patient monitoring for chronic conditions like heart failure have shown that it can reduce hospital readmissions by up to 50%, keeping people healthier at home for longer. Of course, this future is not a guarantee, but it is a possibility. It requires massive investment in technology, radical rethinking of our economic priorities, and a cultural shift away from the idea that more people is always better. But for the first time in history, we have the tools to build a civilization that is not just bigger, but truly better, richer, and more sustainable for everyone. This isn't a collapse. It is the opportunity to build the first truly golden age for all of humanity. So what do you think? Could population decline lead to a better, more prosperous world? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please consider liking and subscribing. This has been Blinded by Logic. Thanks for watching.